Welcome to the live stream. In this live stream, we'll be talking about what your hotel stay will be like next time due to the coronavirus. And I'm Chris. This is Yellow Productions. As we just figured out, live streams sometimes have technical issues, but hopefully for the next hour, no more audio issues. And I look forward to hanging out with all of you that are on the live stream, taking your comments and questions. I will do at the end after we get through the bulk of the material. So are you tired of dirty and gross hotel rooms? Well, I am too. And the good news is the major chains have figured out that cleanliness is going to be a differentiator for people wanting to stay in the future. So in this live stream, I'm going to talk about the changes that we're going to see at Marriott, Hilton, Hyatt, Wyndham, Best Western, and at Airbnbs. All of these hotel chains have released updated cleanliness standards and guidance on how their hotels are going to look different the next time you stay at them. From germ zapping robots to actually cleaning the remote controls, I personally am looking forward to these sorts of changes. And so the first one that we're going to talk about here is we are going to talk about Marriott. Okay, so what is Marriott doing differently, and how are Marriott's going to look different when you stay? Well, first of all, Marriott is rolling out some new technologies over the next few months. The first thing they're releasing are electrostatic sprayers. You've probably heard me talk a lot about this, but this is a picture that Marriott actually released of an electrostatic sprayer in one of their hotel rooms. So these are sprayers that use hospital-grade disinfectant to sanitize surfaces throughout the hotel. It clings on areas and gets in nooks and crannies and kills all of the viruses. And they're going to use these in guest rooms, lobbies, gyms, and other public areas. In addition, they are testing ultraviolet light to kill germs. Marriott will also be stocking rooms with disinfecting wipes and installing more sanitizer stations in communal areas. So your next stay at Marriott, you can expect to have not a paper and pen in your room, but disinfecting wipes instead. Marriott is also evaluating panels as you check in at the front desks to add an extra level of precaution. So when I say panels, I mean like those plexiglass partitions, like between you and other people that are checking in. And they are also working with their supply chain partners to make sure that they have masks and gloves available for their employees. So expect to see more of the hotel employees wearing gloves and masks. And Marriott has not gone so far as like Vegas hotels to say they're going to do temperature checks or all those sorts of things, because I think many of them are smaller. Darren asked if this will be for boutique hotels of Marriott. This is Marriott wide, so all their different things. Now I think we could expect different people to do hand sanitizer, disinfecting wipes. I think we'll see a lot of different things. So another thing that another Marriott chain hotel is looking at, the Westin Houston Medical Center in Houston, Texas, is going beyond Lysol and bleach, and they are investigating using germ zapping robots. That's right. This robot right here that you see in this hotel room is a ultraviolet light disinfecting robot. It uses xenon ultraviolet light to kill bacteria and fungi, and it's already in use in 400 hospitals, which I have a picture of here, slightly bigger, right there, like that. So they already use these in hospitals to clean the hospitals, and so they're looking at, actually the Westin isn't looking at it, they are doing it right now in their hotel rooms. So I think that's one that they're probably having a lot of people stay because it's close to the hospital, so it makes sense to try out some of this new technology there. All right, the next chain we're going to talk about is Hilton, but I want to read a few comments before we go on. Mikey says Marriott is very safe. And I think all the hotels are trying to make it A, cleaner, and then B, make it seem like it's cleaner so that you know that there's some cleaning going on. I would refer to it as a little bit of cleaning theater to say that it's not just enough for them to clean it, but you, as the guest, also need to know that they're cleaning it so that you know it's clean. And Samir points out that that will be quite a large investment for Marriott. I think it is, but I think that this type of investment for cleaning are actually things they should have been doing a long time ago. And so it's just a long time coming. William King says it's a good time to get in the robot making business if you want to make germ killing robots. It probably is. Chris Reed says, I bet those things cost 5 figures each. I bet they are not cheap. Dr. Quinn says, it looks like it will take forever to clean a room. I think room cleaning will, in fact, take longer now. And then Harm says, you cannot be in the same room as such an ultraviolet zapper. It's very true. It would be harmful to people, cleans the bugs. So you would have to be outside of the room. And Delta Co-Killer says, what about Ritz-Carlton? I would imagine very similar things for Ritz-Carlton because it's part of the Marriott chain. Last comment before I go on to Hilton. Annie says, I wonder if they'll raise prices because of the cleaning. I think initially no, because I think they're just going to want people to stay in their hotels again because hotel occupancies are like at all-time lows, and so they're just looking to do things to get people back, even if it means it costs them more money. If they keep this up in the long run, then yes, it may mean higher rates because they have to do more work to clean the rooms. But again, I would argue that should have been cleaning they should have been doing to begin with. And I don't know about you, but I will take the $100 clean room over the $80 unclean room. All right, so let's talk about what Hilton is doing. The Hilton chain of hotels has announced that they've undertaken a new Clean Safe program with aid of the Mayo Clinic and technical experts. They are still developing the whole program, but one of the things they're actually going to be doing is they're going to put these seals on rooms. They call it the Clean Stay Room Seal, so that you'll know if that seal is on the door that the room has not been entered by a guest since it's been cleaned. So that's pretty interesting. And they're also going to be looking at 10 high-touch areas to do a deep cleaning in the hotel room. So I'm going to blow this picture up a little bit bigger and then kind of walk you through the 10 different areas that they're talking about. So these are the 10 areas that they're going to do extra disinfection, looking at light switches, door handles, TV remotes, thermostats, and more. But some things that you are going to see them remove from the room. They are decluttering the paper amenities. What does that mean? That means they're going to remove the pen, the paper, and the guest directory that you would be able to access digitally instead. So if you have a phone, you could get it that way. So don't expect any more pens and paper in your room. They are going to do more cleaning of fitness centers. They're going to clean it multiple times a day, and they're going to limit the number of people in the fitness center. They are also going to increase the frequency of cleaning in public areas, so you'll see them cleaning the lobby and those places more. They are also going to provide stations at primary entrances with disinfecting wipes, and particularly at the elevators to allow guests to wipe the elevator button before they push the button in the elevator. And Hilton is also going to double down on its digital contactless check-in. That was something I was showing in the previous picture. With Hilton, you can actually check in on their mobile app, and then you can use your cell phone to unlock the room. And so they're going to be rolling that out at more hotels and really pushing digital check-in instead of in-person check-in. And finally, Hilton is also investigating electrostatic sprayers, and they're also investigating ultraviolet lights, though they've not gone quite as far as Marriott has, where Marriott has said they are actually rolling it out. Hilton is still investigating it. Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman, says they should do mini sanitizers like mini shampoos. They totally should. They should have those mini things of hand sanitizer. Maybe that'll be the new thing that we all that we all take back from hotels. Christina says, I really like the idea of leaving wipes in hotel rooms. Great idea. I agree. Though April says it doesn't matter how much they're going to clean, she is still going to bring Clorox wipes. Nothing Master wants to know if they'll implement these safety measures in their international locations. I would imagine so, being a global chain. Jordan N asks if hotel buffets will be eliminated in the short run. I think we will see more hotels doing things that are plated instead of buffets, or doing buffets in like a full service manner where the hotel staff gives you the things that are on the buffet. And Noto Baka says, I wonder how they'll manage these changes between franchises. Some franchises internationally may not be willing to comply. It's true, but I think that now people are really going to use cleanliness as a differentiator. So I think most of us will vote with our wallets and not stay at places that actually don't do these sorts of things. And JR says, great content as usual, my friend. Thank you, JR. I appreciate it. And Juicy Fruit wants a hi from Canada. I'm not from Canada, but I'll give you a hi to Canada. Hi, Juicy Fruit. Kathy, she will be missing all the hotel pens. Yeah, I like the hotel pens. And Wookie says the TV remote is filthy. It is, so it's good they're going to be cleaning those more. All right, next hotel chain to go on to. What is Hyatt doing? What will your stay look like at Hyatt next time you stay there? Well, first of all, Hyatt is rolling out what they call a global cleanliness accreditation. And this month, May of 2020, Hyatt plans to introduce this new accreditation through performance-based cleaning, disinfection, and an infectious disease prevention program to focus on establishing hotel environments that are sanitary, safe, and healthy. And this accreditation will include detailed training at more than 900 Hyatt hotels worldwide, and Hyatt intends to complement this with regular internal and third-party auditing. So somebody asked, how are these chains going to make sure hotels do it? Well, that's how. And Hyatt has just said they're going to apply this to all of their hotels, and they're regularly going to check that these hotels are actually doing it via auditing. So that's how you check, right? You actually send people there and make sure they are complying with it. Now, Hyatt is also going to introduce some what they call hotel-level sanitization specialists. And so as part of that, every Hyatt hotel starting in September of 2020 will have at least one person trained on property as the hygiene manager, which will be responsible for their hotel operating new operational guidance and protocols. And now here's a list of things they're going to do after I drink my tea. What am I drinking today? Today I am drinking a jasmine milk tea from The Alley. It's a boba milk tea chain from Taiwan, which has really good teas. And they have this nice thing where you can like order online via their app, and you just go and tell them your name and you pick it up. You don't have to pay. You don't have to stand in line. So that's a nice thing I like about getting those drinks. All right. So the things that Hyatt is going to do, they're going to do more training. They're going to do certification of their employees to show that their employees have been certified with new hygiene and cleanliness standards. They will do increased cleaning on all their public areas. We talked about those earlier. They're going to implement enhanced food safety and hygiene protocols for restaurants, room service, group meetings, and events. They will also be prominently placing hand sanitizer at entrances and employee areas. They will be, this is something Hyatt's looking at doing that Marriott and Hyatt haven't said they're going to be doing. Hyatt is exploring purification and sanitization device installation to ensure air quality. So looking at better ventilation systems, things like that. They will be wearing masks for the hotel colleagues. And actually, when OC Girl and I were in Japan and Tokyo in February. And if you recall, with your hats on about this coronavirus outbreak, right, Japan was one of the early countries that were hit. When we were there in February, all of the staff at that hotel was already wearing masks. And Hyatt will also put social distancing guidance in public areas across hotel properties so guests can see that. Furthermore, Hyatt is establishing a cross-functional response team, a group of people to get together to think about some stuff, and they're going to look at colleague safety. So how do they keep their employees safe, food and beverage safety, the travel journey, space design, contactless technology, and well-being. Well-being, how do they do better stuff in the gyms? How do they do better stuff in the fitness centers? So how do we look forward to that? Contactless technology is likely, how do you check in and not contact somebody? How do you unlock the door to your room without touching something? How do you use an elevator without touching a button, right? Can you maybe have like voice control, or can it, right? If you just tap your key card, the elevator should know what room you're on. I think those are all things that they will look at. Let's see. Nothing Master asks if they'll do away with paper-based check-in procedures. I don't think they're going to do away with it, but I think they're going to encourage all the digital ones. Esmeralda asks, what is this channel about? Travel events. Fellow explorers, you're on the live feed. You can tell Esmeralda what this channel is about, but it's about fun, informative, and entertaining travel videos, of course. Wookie wants to know if it's still worth it to steal the towels and robes. I'm going to have to leave that up to you, but I think you'll definitely want to go there to get that hand sanitizer. Anita P says, hi, Chris. Yellow Productions, lots of emojis. Be safe, happy, and healthy. Thank you. Thank you, Anita. I appreciate it. All right. So the next hotel chain I'm going to go to is the Best Western Hotel. But before I go to the Best Western Hotel, I want to share the newest addition to the Yellow Productions crew sofa that we have back here. And the newest addition is a quokka from Australia. This quokka was sent courtesy of Jill, Keith, Jenna, and Chris. And this quokka comes from Rottnest Island right here. This is an island in Australia that is known for these animals. In particular, people go to take a selfie with the quokka. And I definitely, it's on my bucket list to visit Rottnest Island to pick up a quokka. So thank you very much for the quokka, and I would love to come get a selfie. And by the way, if you wonder what his name is, he came with a certificate of adoption, and it says his name is Stevie. Right there, Stevie. So welcome, Stevie, to the Yellow Productions crew sofa. All right, and on to Wyndham. All right, Best Western? On to Best Western? On to Best Western. All right. So, Best Western. Wyndham next. Wyndham next. All right. I'm going to go actually in the order that I wanted to, which is I wanted to go to Wyndham next. All right. So, on to Wyndham. Wyndham Hotel is like a hotel that has lots of franchises, and people asked about franchises. And so, what is Wyndham doing? Wyndham putting much more out to talk about what they're doing for all the franchisees. And so, first of all, they are going to be building on their partnership with Ecolab to have a more elevated and consistent cleaning experience worldwide, while providing hotel owners and their team members with training and resources. They want to give hotels easy access to COVID-19 health essentials. Wyndham corporately is going to start drop shipping critical products to more than 6,000 hotels across the U.S. within the next 30 days, including face masks for team members, hand sanitizer for public areas and guest rooms, and disinfectant wipes for guests. Now, going on to the part for hotels, they say that Wyndham, leveraging big volume discounts, is going to make these items available at cost to hotel owners and deferring payments from hotels until September 1st, 2020. So it doesn't really sound like Wyndham is going to make deploying these things an option. When it says Wyndham is going to start drop shipping them, I think Wyndham is just going to start shoving them into the hotels, being like, here you go, here's your allotment of clean stuff. Please pay us back in September. Wyndham is also going to be developing a series of practices that focus on enhanced hotel cleaning and social interactions. They'll be implementing mandatory virtual training for their hotel employees and also providing better housekeeping checklists, which hotels can use to ensure consistency of cleaning. So now this is interesting. They have a section of their plan called a visible commitment to guests. And in the visible commitment to guests, Wyndham says they want to ensure guests and team members can physically see the above efforts and trust in their impact. On property, guests will be offered sanitizing wipes along with their key cards at check-in. So they're not going to put it in guest rooms, they're going to give it to them at check-in. Guests at Wyndham hotels will notice social distancing enhancing measures in public spaces because they will notice increased frequent cleaning and disinfecting, and they will have a complimentary travel-sized hand sanitizer in each room. So they read one of your minds who was suggesting that earlier, and Wyndham will also make available to hotels branded collateral emphasizing key safety measures. What does that mean? Handouts, signs, all those things say social distancing and have Wyndham as the brand on it. So that's what Wyndham Hotel is doing differently. Dallas says, I will not travel again until late 2020. I'll be cleaning everything when I get to the room. Whiskey will help kill the germs as well. I bet whiskey will. Who needs rubbing alcohol when you have whiskey? Jeff says, my office building elevators, you swipe your ID and it automatically lights up your floor. Never touch a button. Hopefully the major chains install this kind of system. I think that kind of system would be nice. Samir says, Chris, I think instead of using thermometers to check temperatures, hotels should invest in the temperature checks when you walk past. Samir, like in Las Vegas, the big resort casinos, they are definitely doing that. I think these smaller hotels just feel that the hotel is too small to do that. And OC Steve says, social distancing enhancing methods are the polite way of saying cattle prods. I love that term. M4S, I believe that many hotels are not going to survive. I think the bad hotels will not survive. The hotels that were dirty, that were filthy, that nobody liked anyway, those won't. I think the hotels that will survive are the ones that do clean things that people can go to and say, yeah, this hotel, I feel safe staying there. I think the smaller boutique hotels might actually have an easier time of this than the big convention hotels, because big convention hotels, just people won't be having big conventions in a while, and so those are going to be hard to fill because they fill those up with conventions. All right, let's go on to Best Western now. So Best Western, they've outlined what they're doing by different sections of the hotel. First, looking at how your experience at their front desk and lobby of Best Westerns will be. So Best Western is going to have new check-in processes to minimize guest contact with streamlined check-in and checkout process, such as the use of Best Western's mobile concierge platform. So they are absolutely looking at how do they streamline check-in, make it less paper-based, and make it less human-based. They are also going to implement signs in lobby brochure in the lobby, but in the lobby they're going to remove magazines, papers, and any brochures. So that stuff that you might like to read while you're sitting in the lobby, well, that won't be there. In the guest rooms, they are going to remove unnecessary items, including decorative pillows, bed scarves, paper notepads, and pens. So they're following that trend. No notepads and pens at Best Western. Best Western will be modifying their housekeeping offering for guests who stay over for a few nights, including the elimination of full cleaning service unless specifically requested by guests. That's an interesting one. So at Best Western, don't expect your room to be cleaned every night like you expected it to unless you ask for it. And guest rooms will not be entered for 24 to 72 hours after checkout, at which time the room linens and all touch points will be cleaned, which include light switches, thermostats, clocks, and hangers, using chemicals to kill COVID-19. Now, I guess if you don't have a lot of people staying in the hotel, this makes sense because you go, well, if they've only got 10% occupancy, they don't have to get in the room for a while. But when the hotel starts to get busy, they won't be able to let those rooms sit there for 24 to 72 hours after checkout. A lot of people have asked about breakfast. Best Western outlines how they'll be changing breakfast options. So, and they also say temporary breakfast offerings. So these changes, like as I said at the beginning of this, some of them will be permanent. Some of them won't be. The breakfast offerings, I think these are definitely temporary, specifically because Best Western outlines it as temporary. So they are going to close breakfast rooms where required to avoid unnecessary guest congregation. They are going to provide enhanced grab and go offerings, providing guests with pre-packaged food and beverage options. And the hotels that had a breakfast buffet may opt to provide a served or pre-plated breakfast to minimize guest contact with food, beverages, surfaces, and cross-contamination. So I think at hotels, not just Best Western's the one that's come out to say this, but I think we'll see this across all hotel chains that had breakfast buffets, instead focusing on plated options and grab-and-go options, so we're not all grabbing that same spoon. Best Western also talks about their public amenities, that they say when they are allowed to open, the public amenities such as fitness centers, swimming pools, and meeting rooms will be cleaned regularly and monitored. And each evening, these areas may also be sanitized with the use of an electrostatic fogging, ozone generators, or ultraviolet devices. So they'll say we're cleaning it more and we don't know what we're going to clean it with. And employees will be empowered to stay home if unwell and communicate their potential exposure of COVID-19 to hotel management. DNA test says COVID-19 lasts on surfaces for 72 hours, which is probably why they said they're waiting 24 to 72 hours. Obviously, 72 when they're not busy because it goes away more. Scarlett says, the hotel I'm staying in now, they stopped breakfast completely and they didn't lower the room price. If you want maid service, you have to ask. Yeah, I think that's pretty weak to say you used to get free breakfast, now you don't, and the hotel rooms are the same. Vic Lau says the best part of the breakfast buffet is the self-made waffles. I do love the smell of waffles at breakfast buffets. French toast also is pretty good. Notobaka says most hotels in Japan are still open and have changed their buffet to set menus. Makes sense. Pick one of these 5, 10 things, one of 2 things. Yeah, that sounds good. Jeff Webb says motel breakfast self-serve buffets are gross even prior to the pandemic. Yuck. I will say, as someone who stays at Marriott's a lot, I like the concierge lounge or the executive lounge. But yeah, I always, like that spoon or this and that. I'm the guy who goes and gets like a napkin and like picks up the spoon with a napkin so that I'm not touching the same thing that everybody else is touching. Okay, let's go on to Airbnb now. This is about how hotels are going to change, but Airbnb is a place where a lot of us are staying. And so what's Airbnb doing for all this? And Airbnb has been in the news a lot, and Airbnb hosts have been in the news a lot, because obviously there was a big controversy at one point in time about, Airbnb, I'd say, took the reasonable approach to the COVID situation where they refunded people their money who were staying in Airbnbs and couldn't get there or didn't want to get there anymore, clearly. But a lot of the Airbnb hosts are like, no, you shouldn't have taken my money. That was my money. Or should have charged them a cancellation because now I'm broke. And a lot of people are broke in all of this. But every hotel was pretty much refunding most people's money, so Airbnb did the same thing. So Airbnb, obviously, they don't really own their own things or clean their own things. So Airbnb is going to be developing a new cleaning protocol for their hosts with guidance from former U.S. Surgeon General Dr. Vivek Murthy. And they're going to be launching this this May of 2020 on how to clean every room in a home. These guidelines will include a learning and certification program to empower the Airbnb host community, and guests will be able to identify and book accommodations in the program after hosts have completed the certification and then enroll their property in it. So people booking Airbnbs will be able to see, hey, these are the ones where the hosts have been certified on how to clean it and are following these enhanced cleaning protocols. They are going to be focusing their cleaning procedures on enhanced use of protective equipment for people cleaning, including masks and gloves. They're also going to be recommending the 24-hour wait period before cleaning. And they also say if the hosts are unable to commit to the new cleaning protocol, hosts can alternatively opt into a new feature called Booking Buffer, which will create a vacancy period between stays so hosts can commit to keeping their home empty for a set period between stays with no activity in that hotel, in the home other than cleaning, and reservations will automatically be blocked during that time, and that is currently set at 72 hours. As somebody mentioned, that is the time that COVID-19 can stick around on surfaces. What time is it now? Well, now it is question and answer time. So if you asked a question and I didn't answer it, we'll ask it again. And if you're asking the question, make sure to put a question mark in it. By the way, as usual on this live stream, as with all live streams, I'll be giving out a Yellow Productions t-shirt. Not this one because I'm wearing it, but I'll be giving out a fancy Yellow Productions crew t-shirt to someone who answers one of my questions that is a question about something I will have talked about on this live stream. Matt asks, does the B&B stand for bed and breakfast? Absolutely, Airbnb, the B&B stands for bed and breakfast because it was originally focused on bed and breakfasts in small places. Now Airbnb just means like anything that's almost not a hotel that you can rent on their platform. Annie asks, will hotels have mini fridges, microwaves on request? The ones that have mini bars have pretty much come out to say they're going to empty the mini bars. The ones that have fridges, will they keep them? Can you still use them? I wouldn't be surprised if hotels lock those at the beginning because it's just another area they have to clean. Though some chains like Residence Inn, people stay there because they have a kitchen and they have a fridge, and so I think those are places that fridges will still be there. I will say, if fridges are important to you, well then you should call them and make sure they're going to do it. Annie asks, how is my lighting so blue, Chris? I really like it. Well, I guess I can show you how my lighting is so blue as long as I don't pull out this microphone right here. I have these lights. Is this cable going to be long enough? No, 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 no. Well, can you see this? Oh, there we go. Oh, and of course it buzzes into my microphone. I have these really bright blue lights. This cable isn't long enough, but it's those bright blue lights that now the power came out, so the light turned off. What? Right? What? Light, stay there. All right. So yeah, those really bright blue LED lights. That's what makes my lighting so blue in the background. And then I have white lights that shine on me to make my face less blue. So that's why that's blue. That's why this isn't blue. All right, interesting little behind the scenes. Jeremy asks if I have any news about Las Vegas opening anytime soon. For planning purposes, I would say the earliest that Las Vegas casinos are looking at opening is either May 22nd or May 26th. The conservative thing would be June. MGM is looking at June for their properties to open. Caesar's Palace, this and that, they are sort of looking at the same dates. Mac says, any word on swimming pools? Really, nobody said anything about swimming pools. The only thing people have said is about like chairs, that they'll separate the chairs. I've heard nothing about will they be open. Um, Electric Rick asks if I think the hotels will be bringing back the magic fingers. I have no idea what magic fingers are. What are magic fingers? Christine says, I heard they're getting rid of buffets. Is it true? If we're talking about Las Vegas, buffets will not be the first things to open, but buffets will not be going away. I guarantee it. Actually, at Caesar's Palace, they spent more money to remodel their buffet. Buffets are some of the biggest money makers in Las Vegas, so there will still be buffets in Las Vegas. Annie says, thanks, Chris, for showing the light. My pleasure, as you got to see me flail with that light over there. And Matt says he needs mood lighting too. You probably do need mood lighting. Becca asked if they're Stardust LEDs. Who are those lights made by? Those lights are made by... dun, 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 dun. Let's see. What does this say? This light is made by... I don't know. It actually doesn't say on that light. But I bought them from B&H, and I found them at NAB. That light is a cello, is the model of that light. So if you looked up cello, C-E-L-L-O, LED light, you would find who makes those lights. Brendan asks if we'll be allowed to keep the wipes. You probably will. It makes sense. I think that would just be like a hotel room amenity, like all the other ones that you get. Annie wants to know for Las Vegas, any news about Golden Nugget? I have no news about Golden Nugget at this point. Delta Co-Killer says, what about in Hawaii? What about in Hawaii? Hawaii right now is enforcing the 14-day quarantine for visitors, which basically says, like, don't come to Hawaii. When is that going to lift? There've really been no, like, Hawaii's not hinted at that, but Hawaii definitely is going to market to tourists, and actually one of the things that, like, the Hawaii Tourism Department is looking at marketing when they start to open again is come to Hawaii, the safest place on earth, because Hawaii has actually had very low numbers of COVID-19. The Caesar's Palace buffet, Matthew says, is the highest revenue restaurant in all of North America, so it has definitely come back. Tony wants to know if I've used the Flowbee yet. I have not used the Flowbee yet to cut my hair. It's still, it's getting extra long, and it seems less long now. Extra long when I do that. It seems less long when I'm wearing this headband microphone. Chris Barney wants to know if there's any news on Disneyland opening, because after this I want to take a trip with my whole family. So Shanghai Disneyland just opened today, May 11th. If you didn't see my video about that, it came out a few days ago, all about how Disneyland's going to look different when they reopen based on Shanghai Disneyland. But Disney has not announced anything about their U.S. chains. I think they are waiting to see what happens in China. Darren asks if I've stayed at the Wynn Macau. I've been in the property and I've eaten at a restaurant there, but I have not stayed at the hotel. Delta Co-Killer wants to know, what is that YouTube thing called again? What YouTube thing? What YouTube thing? That YouTube thing? That's the play button? Maybe that's the 100,000 subscriber play button. Matt wants to know if there's a one-up mushroom in the question block right here. I don't know. Let's try to pink, pink. Let's try to hit it. Pink, pink. This is really hard to do. It's like, you know, being a weather person, being like, okay, if I do this and I just go up, yeah, right. Looking at myself in reverse. Juicy Fruit wants to know, where are we going next? We have no trips currently planned. Japan's always a safe bet. We want to go back to Taiwan. Certainly Las Vegas is probably in there as well. Those are a few of the places. OC Steve wants to know, if I flip the map behind me, does it show Mordor or Westeros? I would say I'm a bigger Game of Thrones fan, so let's go ahead and say Westeros. That back there, that map, in case you're wondering, this map is a map of Western Europe. And when is this map from? See, I can do this now that I have the headset microphone. I can look this way, and you can still hear me. This is a map of Western Europe from, there's a year on this, December 1950 is when that map is from. All right. Sean wants to know if I will come to the Olympics next summer in Japan. I will probably not be there when the Olympics are there, just because I think it'll be too busy. But I definitely love to come before or after the Olympics. Um, Matt's Travel Adventures wants to know if we can say hello to Topher. Let's see. Which one wants to say hi today? How about the really big one right here? This panda wants to say hi. Hi, Matt's Travel Adventures. Okay. Um, Train Tech Burbank says, "What's beyond the door behind you?" Ooh, that's a good question. I've never opened that door. I don't know. Crazy Race says, "I'm really scared to travel again. The hotels and destinations will feel disinfected. People will keep the distance from you. It all feels so distant." Yeah, I think we'll get back to some normalicity, but yeah, I know like when you walk around, everybody looks at you like you have the plague. Everybody looks at you like you're going to turn them into a zombie. Um, I think though, like Shanghai Disney, their tickets for their first day sold out. Like everybody wanted to go there. Searches for Las Vegas on Google are up 25%. So I actually think there's a lot of pent-up demand. And here in Southern California, like beaches have reopened, more people are going to the beach. You can't sit on the beach, you can walk, but you go to places like that and things are starting to feel more normal. There's obviously more face masks and those sorts of things. And I think the destinations that are going to pick up for travel first are like driving destinations, like small destinations, staying in boutique hotels. The RV parks have been really busy throughout this because how can people travel? Well, bring your RV, and your RV is always clean. Brian Johnson wants to know if I'm binge watching any shows during this quarantine. Let's see. We watched all of Picard, the new Star Trek Picard. We watched For All Mankind, which is on Apple Plus, which was really neat. It was a show kind of looking at the space race and what would have happened if the USA was not the first country on the moon, but if Russia was the first country on the moon. We have almost finished season 3 of Westworld. We've got one episode left, and I've been watching The Man in the High Castle on Amazon Prime. Jeremy asked, what software do I use to stream with? I use some software called vMix. And if you want to know behind the scenes of the software that I use, actually, I did a live stream maybe 4 weeks ago all about using vMix. The letter V and Mix. So if you search for Yellow Productions vMix, you will find that video. Brian says, do you think it's safe to book now for Hawaii for September flights and hotels since they are now flexible and cheap? Well, if the flights are flexible and the hotels are flexible, go for it, right? I mean, because you can always change it. So in that case, it's safe to book it for whenever you want to. Gene says, Netflix or Hulu? Amazon Prime, that's where we watch a lot of stuff. Apple Plus to watch the other show. And then HBO to watch Westworld. So neither Netflix nor Hulu. Nothing Master says, any idea of how often they'll clean the slot machines? I think the Wynn and the Venetian have basically said they will clean it after every guest leaves, and they will have people available so that if you want to request a special cleaning, that you can ask them to clean it before you sit down. The mandate from the Nevada Gaming Commission was that Nevada casinos must provide cleaning wipes so that guests can clean the slot machines themselves, and that they must be cleaned at least every day. Though I think Wynn and the Venetian likely said every 4 hours. Though I could be making that up, but that seems like something that I remember from reading those 27-page documents. Grant wants to know what my favorite sports teams are. Growing up in San Diego and Southern California, I consider myself kind of a beach boy, and so being a beach boy, I like to go to the ocean. I like solitary sports activities, and so I think to myself, like growing up here, I could either sit around and watch a sports game for a long time, or I could go out and do something in fresh air and get some exercise myself. And so actually I really have no favorite sports teams because I do not watch all that much sports. Just to name a team, though, I will name the Yokohama Bay Stars, which is the baseball team in Yokohama, Japan. And yes, I have seen them in person. It's pretty fun to watch Japanese baseball. Uh, Becca says Sony or Canon. Definitely Sony. All of my camera gear is Sony. I use a Sony camera to live stream. I use Sony camcorder to travel with. And then OC Girl for taking pictures uses Fujifilm interchangeable lens cameras. They're not quite DSLR cameras. They're like what is it? What do they call it? 4/3 or 3/4? Anyway, it's the slightly smaller one. Mindy wants to know how we spent OC Girl's first Mother's Day. Right. Well, we probably would have went out to dinner or gotten some big meal, but right, with the coronavirus situation, we're still kind of on lockdown here in California. So we basically went out for a picnic. We took pictures at the picnic, went for a walk in this park. And so that is how we spent OC Girl's first Mother's Day. And our little explorer gave OC Girl her first gift for Mother's Day, which was a baby onesie that said, Dad and I agree, Mom is the best. And Tangential asks if I have any nostalgia for old Las Vegas, meaning pre-1995. Do I have any nostalgia? I absolutely have nostalgia for old Las Vegas because I feel old Las Vegas was less focused on trying to get every dollar out of every person that came there. It was the time before parking fees and resort fees and all that sorts of stuff. So yes, and that was a time of less nightclubs and all those sorts of things. Jesus wants to know if Las Vegas escorts will disappear with social distancing. I don't think so. I think the people that are there for that and those people in that business will likely continue doing that. I think their risk tolerance is at a different level. That's what I think. Interesting. I saw a post about a strip club in Oregon that was still open, and they were doing as a drive-through. So the girls, instead of being inside, they were out in the parking lot with poles, and whoever would drive by in a car and be able to watch them dance and give money out of their window. Right. So, the people who need that really need that. Jeremiah wants to know if I'm going to do any more strip walks. I need to. I want to take my 360 camera down the strip, which is something I've yet to do. So I plan to do that. Delta Code Killer wonders if these changes are permanent or temporary. I think you can consider them all temporary until they're decided they're permanent. I think like some of the enhanced cleaning, I hope stay as permanent things. Like it'd be nice, in every room, right? You get soap, body wash. Like I think hand sanitizer should be one of those things that's there, just as like a standard amenity. I think the faster check-in, the digital check-in, I think that should be more permanent. I don't know. There is something nice about breakfast buffets, though, right? But figuring out how to do that in a way that has less sneezing, less breathing on stuff, less people all close together. I think that'll be good. Just a rethinking about everybody being a germaphobe. And Delta Co Killer also wonders if resort fees will be discontinued when Las Vegas opens. I would not expect it. I would expect resort fees to still be there. They worked really hard to get those, and so I think until like governments mandate no resort fees, they're going to keep charging them. Annie wants to know how is working from home in the tech field. I am a computer science student. Excellent, Annie. For those of you who don't know, my background is in computer science, and yes, we are currently working at home. I will say it's good. I mean, being in tech, it's an area that you can work at home, which I'm grateful for. I would say that I don't think 100% telework is as great as everybody thinks about it, though. People think like, oh, it's great. I'll be at home. I just stay in my pajamas. I don't have to go to the office. But there is something about going to a workplace, seeing people that are there. It's much harder to talk to your coworkers if you're not in the office, or you have to call them. Are they there? Are they not? You just don't call them, where naturally you kind of run into people and have more of that work support system when you're in an actual office. So I personally prefer to go into an office to do work than in a 100% telework capacity. But it's allowing a lot of us to think about, just right, what's the different method of doing work? And I think, right, some people in the workforce are used to this kind of stuff, but not everybody is. And so it's more people getting used to video teleconferencing and telephone calls instead of in-person discussions, right? It's really hard to do a whiteboarding session for design when you're not in the same room with people. Jay Horn says, have you ever thought of doing a Yellow Productions meetup in Vegas? I have yet to do a Yellow Productions meetup. I talked about doing them when I got my 100,000 subscriber play button, and I never did it. And I probably need to. Vegas is challenging because I'm like, whenever I'm there, I'm always there for a short period, and I always have so much content that I want to film, and so then I sort of have a hard time actually figuring out how I do that. But maybe I need to bring that up on my list. CKGD says, any special recommendation when taking a vacation to popular beaches? I don't know. Are you asking for particular beaches to go to, or what to do when you go there? I'm not sure exactly what your question is. Chris wants to know, how hard will it be to get a refund on a Hawaiian Airlines flight? I have not personally tried to get a refund from them. I'm curious if, of the 323 of you fellow explorers out there, if anybody else has experienced getting a refund on Hawaiian Airlines, let Christopher know in the chat. Mark says, why do I like the color yellow? Stay safe, man. And by the way, tell Topher I said hello. I will say hello to the Yellow Productions crew for you, Mark Prez. Why do I like the color yellow? I made a whole video where I talk in detail about where the color yellow came from for Yellow Productions. If you search for Yellow Productions Frequently Asked Questions, FAQ, you will find that. But the short answer of that is I drive a yellow car. And so the name of the channel and all those things came from the yellow car because I drove a yellow car. And then people gave me a nickname like, hey, yellow, right? Like, because, not many people drive yellow cars. Sean wants to know, how many indoor public pools are in New York City? Probably very few. Let's see. Vic wants to know if I go to the local California Indian casinos. Yeah, every once in a while. I like the buffets. We were talking about buffets. I like the buffets at the local California Indian casinos. And if you want to know what my favorite buffet is, my favorite buffet at a Southern California casino is at Paula Casino, which is in Temecula, California. Actually, it's probably one of my favorite casinos too. The other, probably my second favorite, not for the buffet, just as a general place, is Sequan Casino. It is east of San Diego. You take like the 8 freeway when you go down there. They have a really cool like outlet shopping mall that has like these rivers and pass through it. And so I like it because it has the outlet mall next to the casino as well. Brian says, if I've thought about all the adjustments I'll have to make with vlogging, with social distancing, and wearing masks once you're able to travel. The thing about like wearing masks is that the masks generally apply to like when you can't social distance yourself or when you're inside. And so a lot of the stuff I shoot is outside, or a lot of the stuff that I shoot is restaurants. And it doesn't really make sense to shoot video wearing a mask because you can't talk well and you can't hear people. And so, I mean, it'll be different, I guess. Yeah. Let's see. Gaming Studio says I can upload my video outtakes, Chris. I do every year, actually. It's an annual tradition. I upload like a bloopers thing. If you want to find it for this year, gosh, where would you find it? If you just look at my videos and look for one that I released in December, like if you go to Yellow Productions, you click on videos, or you click through the latest videos playlist, scroll through there until you find one that was published in December of 2019. I did a video outtakes video. EJ wants to know if there's any possibility of doing a video collaboration when we visit in July. EJ, send me an email and we can chat. Or send me a message on my Facebook page, which you can find a link to my Facebook page in the description of this video. The Uniplex asks if I would say I am an introvert. I am absolutely an introvert, yes. It is something that when I say that, many people don't believe me, and so Uniplex, it's interesting that you ask that question, because often, like, when we do these exercises about, share something with people that they might not know about you, right? I always say I'm an introvert, and people expect that I'm an introvert because I talk loud, or I present a lot, or I do these sorts of things. Or I do YouTube, right? Because they're like, Chris, you must be an extrovert because you stand in front of all these people and you are on a camera. But In my mind, the definition of an introvert versus an extrovert is like, do you gain more energy by being around people, or do you need more like alone time? And so, I I love being around people, but not that long and not big groups. I like being around small number of people. Like for dinner, I like a table of four. I don't really like a table of 12. And so that's also something to think about with like meetups where I'm like, oh, so many people. Like I'd much rather do like private meetups with just like 3 or 4 people where I can, actually get to know that person and spend some time doing that. Delta Coke Killer says, "What kind of car do you drive?" I drive a yellow Lexus IS 300. That's what kind of car I drive. Jordan Grant wants to know where I get all the money from. It is certainly not from Facebook ads, let me tell you. I got my, they call it an invoice for Facebook ads, right? YouTube does ads, Facebook does ads on things. And if you want to know how much I earned last month from Facebook ads, 17 cents. I earned 17 cents from Facebook ads for the month of April. Really, really doesn't get me far. From my full-time job working in the computer software area. That's where I get money to finance our travels. David Paul wants to know, why don't hotels just increase the room rate instead of a resort fee? Nobody likes it. Why send your visitors home with a sour taste? I made a video all about resort fees that explains the motivation behind that, which you could find if you search for Yellow Productions resort fees. But briefly, the reason why hotels do that is so that when people search for room rates, because nowadays people search for room rates on travel aggregators like Expedia or even like Google Hotels, where people like sort by the cheapest room rate. And so if hotels have a really low room rate and then add a whole bunch of resort fees, it makes their hotel show up at the top of these price aggregators for really low room rates, like circa $17 for room. $17! And you go through the booking process and you realize there's a $40 resort fee and a $25 parking fee, and you're like, that wasn't $17, but I got you to click on it, and so that's why they do it. Mindy wants to know when I think the nightclubs in Vegas are going to open. I would think probably not until next year. I'd probably say not until 2021. That would be my random guess if I shook the magic 8 ball in that. Wookie wants to know, what about the Disney Star Wars Hotel still happening? I am not up to date on the Disney Star Wars Hotel. Chris Sullivan says, thank you for live streaming and answering all of our questions. Well, Chris, thank you for watching. Thanks for being here. I always enjoy hanging out with all of y'all. I have to read this one because it's about In-N-Out Burger. And by the way, if there are comments that I didn't read or questions I didn't answer, I'm not ignoring anybody. There's so many that go through that it's hard to get to all of them. I tried to, but I do hit the high ones that catch my attention. And I'm not ignoring the other ones. I probably just didn't see them. April Adams says, I was at In-N-Out the other day, which already reminds me of you, and there was a yellow car about 4 cars ahead of me, which really reminded me of you. Very cool. Yeah, anytime I see a yellow car, it reminds me of me too. And actually, if I drive up to somebody and I'm in a yellow car and they're in a yellow car, like we have like a special like yellow car club. We wave to each other. Matt wants to know if I drive a yellow Tesla. I do not, because I don't know that Tesla. I don't know that Teslas come in yellow. Jake wants to know if I like donuts. Yeah, I like donuts. My favorite donuts are probably like cake donuts. Gloria says, I really appreciate how you prepare for these topics. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Gloria. By the way, if you're wondering, and I'm down here to pick up these things, people often ask me this, like, Chris, how long do you prepare? How much do you prepare? The preparation to deliver this 30-minute live stream was seven pages of notes is what went to go to that. So, Jeremiah wants to know if there's any information on the bullet train from Las Vegas to Los Angeles, other than like it's still reported as being in progress, but no more information other than that. Savannah says, I'm an introvert and I loved working at home. I had to start going into the office last week and hated it. I'm sorry, Savannah. Maybe your office just isn't that cool. I don't know what to say. Carol says, yay for introverts. M4 wants to know, when do I believe that things are going to be normal as before COVID-19? There's this new phrase of like new normal or different normal, or how are those things going to be? I mean, I don't I don't know that I don't know that we'll ever be exactly like we were before, because I think there will be a lot of good things that come out of this about we need more personal space, we need enhanced cleaning, and so I'm looking forward to all of those changes. Like I want us to get over this hump of, all of the, paranoia. I don't. No, nobody loves face masks really, so but when there's a vaccine or there's herd immunity or all that stuff, will be really good, so we don't have to wear uncomfortable face masks everywhere we go. It's important to wear face coverings now. When will that be? It's really hard to say. If there's a vaccine, it'll be sooner. If there's not a vaccine, I would expect it not to be normal until we get through this winter. So maybe like next summer, right? Like summer of 2021. That's where I would put my dart on things being more normal. All right. I have to say this one, which Respect Delight says, I smell amazing. Thank you, Respect a Little, that I smell amazing. All right, so my question for you, if you want to win the Yellow Productions shirt, the Yellow Productions crew shirt, which will be given away today, because this is the giveaway time of the video right here, is earlier I showed a new addition to the Yellow Productions crew sofa, which you can't see right now because I'm in front of it and he's back there. But what kind of animal was the new animal that arrived today for the Yellow Productions crew sofa? If you can name the animal and you have to spell it correctly, if you can name the animal and you can spell it correctly, then I will send you a Yellow Productions crew t-shirt anywhere in the world. If you don't win one today and you want to pick up one and be part of the Yellow Productions crew, you can get one on the Etsy shop. You'll find a link in the description below, or you can go to etsy.com and you can search for Yellow Productions. Every purchase makes you a part of the Yellow Productions crew and helps support the channel, so I appreciate every purchase. The correct answer, Dallas Cook. That was impressive, Dallas, because not only did you get the type of animal, but you also got where he was from. Right here, the quokka from Rottnest Island. Dallas Cook, well done. You will now be part of the Yellow Productions crew with the Yellow Productions t-shirt on its way to you. And so send me a message on Facebook and let me know where you'd like me to send it to and what size you want, or you can send me an email to chris@yellow.net with 2 W's right there. All right, quokkas. Now, before we conclude, I'll just take a few more last fire questions, and a lot of people said quokka, so thank you everybody who got that right. But Dallas was the first one to get it right. Mr. Ramion, darn, missed it. A squirrel. Close is kind of like a squirrel. I don't. Beto Aguilar says, what is the first thing you'll do as soon as this whole virus thing is over? What are you looking forward to doing the most? What am I looking forward to doing the most? Going to Singapore and eating at the hawker centers. How about that? I really love the hawker centers at In-N-Out. Not at In-N-Out. In-N-Out, I'm reading the next one. I really love the hawker centers in Singapore. Delta Coke Killer says, speaking of In-N-Out, are the lines as crowded in the drive-thru? Well, right now, In-N-Out Burger is only doing drive-thru. Some In-N-Out burgers aren't too bad. Other In-N-Out burgers are super crazy. I drove by an In-N-Out burger yesterday that is the In-N-Out burger in National City, California. This is like south of San Diego. It is the In-N-Out burger that is like closest to the U.S.-Mexico border. The drive-through line for that In-N-Out burger was like 100 cars deep. It was absolutely insane. So I think, people go to In-N-Out Burger because it's clean and they're not so worried about the employees there, which I think, people are voting with their money saying, I go there because they put cleanliness important. And so I think that's what people will be doing with hotels. King wants to know if the Resort World in Las Vegas is changing their theme. They've changed it 3 or 4 times since they've started, but I don't know. They're they were doing an Asian theme, but they're not anymore. I'm still really looking forward to it. Jesus asks if I've seen that conventions in Las Vegas, like CES, are canceled. Absolutely, I did, which is sad. And Kathy, she won in the last live stream. She said she's not answering today. Kathy, I bet you would know the answer to that. Ricky Ticky says, your voice makes you a good blogger. You have a great voice. I appreciate it, Ricky Ticky. Thank you for the kind words. Jordan Grant wants to know, why is the email 2Ws? Because the channel originally had 2Ws in it. It was Yellow Productions with 2Ws instead of 1W. Why? Because when I went to register a website, Yellow with 1W was taken. So I was like, oh, Yellow with 2Ws. It sounds the same. It's like Yellow. So I registered yellow.net with 2Ws. And so I made it Yellow Productions with 2Ws. Little did I realize that, YouTube does this like auto spelling correct. So if you try to search for Yellow with 2Ws, then YouTube goes like, oh, you must have typed that wrong. You must mean Yellow with 1W. And so nobody could find my channel. And so that is why I changed it to Yellow with 1W. Patrick Starr wants to know if I like SpongeBob SquarePants. I don't know that I've actually watched enough SpongeBob cartoons, but he's yellow, so I like him because of that. Let's see. Jennifer asks if I can tell the traveling princess hello. I will tell the traveling princess hello for you. Jean says Satay Stall number 8 Singapore is the best. I assume you mean at Lau Pa Sat Satay Street. Question, Don Campbell, no, where to go? Scrolling. Ding Dong YOLO says, will you ever do an Amtrak California train vlog type thing or something dealing with Amtrak? Good suggestion. Next time I ride an Amtrak, maybe I will. I have an upcoming vlog about riding the train in Japan from Tokyo to Fukushima Prefecture. I just edited that last night. You'll see that in a few weeks. All right, last question from April Adams. April says, do you like Six Flags Magic Mountain? If so, favorite ride? I like Six Flags Magic Mountain. I have not been there in a long time. Probably 10 years. So I would say my favorite ride at Six Flags Magic Mountain is the big wooden roller coaster, right? I think it's like Colossus. It's this massive wooden roller coaster. The ride's like 3 minutes long or something. I think it's just a classic, and there aren't any other rides like that. I also like it's like Ninja or something. I like the roller coasters where like your legs kind of dangle. I think that's pretty neat. All right, well, hey, if this was your first time here on a Yellow Productions live stream and you want to stay up to date on all things travel, particularly if you're interested in Las Vegas openings, what's happening in Las Vegas, I've been seeing a lot of Las Vegas questions. I'll be having lots of Las Vegas content coming up as it reopens, since many hotels in Las Vegas are looking to reopen May 22nd, May 26th, June 1st. So as those open, we'll have lots of news all about that. Great travel content. My typical uploads are on Friday. My typical live streams are on Monday at this time, but with kind of the coronavirus pandemic and this and that and all the news coming out related to it, they've sort of been all over the place. So if you want to stay up to date on the live streams, make sure you've subscribed and you've clicked the bell to turn on notifications so you get notified of future live streams. And Ding Dong YOLO says, good night, fellow travelers. And so with Ding Dong YOLO, thank you very much. All of you fellow travelers that are in this part of the world that I'm in, well, good night. For all of you that are down under, good afternoon. And for all of you that might be someplace else, good morning, good day. And as usual, I won't say goodbye because I'll see you all in the next video.